We're here.
Hey guys! Hopefully everyone is having a lovely Wednesday. Hopefully everybody can hear me and see me and all is well in the video digital world right now. Are we good? Everything good?
That looks good.
Everything looks good. That's awesome. Luna even looks good. She's down here with her donut. Just saying hi.
All except for Facebook.
All except for Facebook. That's all right. We don't need them.
Yeah.
Alrighty, folks. Actually, that's not true. Tony and I definitely need Facebook. That's where we sell all the leather.
I just don't know why it has to be such a pain.
I think that's just the nature of Facebook. That's like what it is.
Look, Mark, let's get it in order.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm sure everybody, if you watched Friday's video and Denny made the announcement what he was doing today, I'm sure all of you have been in rapt anticipation for Denny's advanced tooling course. So that's what we're doing today.
Bated breath.
That's right, bated breath. Hopefully no one has been breathing since Friday.
Like been eating worms or what?
You've been hooked.
Wow.
What does that mean? Tony, you should Google that for us. Bated breath.
Well, that's what they did for catfish.
They baited their breath?
Yep.
Okay.
That's why you use stink baits with catfish.
Now we know. Okay.
Google it. You'll see I'm right.
I don't like that. That's why I don't eat catfish.
I don't know what. Go ahead. I'm searching what does bated breath mean.
Okay, what
Okay.
we're doing, I
do have a
guess,
whole-
kind of a mini intermediate advanced class.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're doing, right?
That's what I think.
And- I
I'm
generally
super excited.
give people a choice between this Roper wallet
Thank you.
right here.
Look how zoomed in it is. It's just right there.
Yes. A choice of either this or a field notes journal, and I like this one the best.
That is
because most
gorgeous.
people do the field notes journal because it's not quite as involved as this.
They don't want to get this advanced.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is a kit we sell.
Yep.
It's for a Roper wallet. But anyway, I figure if you're all watching this, you know how to trace a pattern. And this is the pattern that we've got. And I generally trace it on paper. I just tape the back of this paper and trace it with a ballpoint pen.
So you just put packing tape on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could just take
Because
this,
otherwise it just tears through.
yeah, you could just take this paper pattern and use tracing film.
Okay.
Trace it, but then you would have to trace it twice.
Right.
This way, you just have to trace it one time. But you put the tape on it to keep it from getting wet when you put it on your damp leather.
Okay.
And I have already traced this pattern
We see that.
because I figured you guys might be kind of bored.
That would be a lot of tracing.
Watching me trace.
So basically you just took a modeling tool. I don't know, did you
Yes.
bring one in? No, probably not.
No, I used a ballpoint pen.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's another point.
Oh yeah, that's why it's all dark.
Yeah, I use a ballpoint pen rather than a modeling tool or a stylus because a ballpoint pen actually rolls on the paper. Ooh. And the stylus or something has a tendency to kind of bunch the paper up.
It does, and then it tears.
Yeah.
That's the problem I always have.
Yeah, but that's why I use a ballpoint pen.
All right, Vic is your best friend.
Dick is my friend. And now I also give everybody this sheet of paper, which includes the tool use and its progression, which means I show you what each tool is and when to use it.
All right.
And I make everybody go 1, 2, 3 through 18.
You have to follow the instructions.
Well, you know, and that's another point. Everybody's going to do something different. If you talk to another tooler, they will do it different than the way I do it. But this is the way I do it, and this is the way I get along pretty well with it. So,
I think you do. I think you get along quite well with it.
so this is the way I show everybody.
And you know what? If you come, you learn this technique, and then you go off on your own and you start doing your own thing, change it up. Do your own thing if you want to, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody. When you're at home, you can do it any way you want to, but if you're here,
This is how we're going to do
trying to get me to show you how I do things, this is the way we're going to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, now I have a list of tools that I'm going to use, and I have them all right here in front of me. And this list of tools, I'm sure Tony can give you a copy of it.
We'll put them in the description.
And you don't necessarily have to use these specific tools, but something similar in size and shape is preferable.
Okay.
Okay, let's get started here.
Well, before you get started, Denny,
All right.
I have researched something,
Oh,
bated breath, and I have information for you. So I'd like to read that if you don't mind.
I'm waiting with it.
Oh, you're waiting with bated breath? All right. So, it says the origin of bated breath, B-A-T-E-D, comes from a Shakespeare play, The Merchant of Venice, written in 1605. The character, Shylock, says, "Shall I bend low and in bondman's key with bated breath and whispering humbleness?" The phrase went on to appear in many other publications, writing and plays over the centuries, and maintains the same meaning in modern language.
wow.
Boy, I'm glad we
1600s.
found that out.
Thank you, Shakespeare, for our bated
Yeah.
breath.
Yeah.
Amen.
Okay.
All right.
Now back to business here. Okay. On our tool use and progression list, number 1 is to cut the border. So you have to use a wing divider and mark your border, and then I cut it with a swivel knife first.
For sure.
That, I guess that's not totally necessary to cut it yet, but I like to cut it because when I trace my pattern, I can kind of feel that line when I get to it, and I don't overdraw.
Right, or like whenever you're, I guess, you start here and come in, so you can kind of start in the line
Yeah.
and come out of it.
Yeah, but you can kind of feel it. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if I go over the line when I trace, it's not a big deal, but I would like to not do it as much as possible.
So you feel like that helps?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, after I've cut the border, I will lay my pattern paper on here. Center it up as well as I can, and then just start tracing the pattern. I generally start with the flowers first,
Okay.
and then I will do my leaves, and then I will fill in all these stickers or chicken necks or whatever we call them.
All the chicken necks.
Yeah, but I do all my prominent features first, and then all my fill in afterwards. Okay, after I've traced the pattern, I want to take my flower center, and you can use whatever flower center you like, but I'm going to use, this isn't the same flower center I used all the way around on this example, but I'm going to use this one just for.
Yeah, you got a couple ovals in there,
Yeah.
and then it looks like maybe you had that
Yeah,
in a
I
couple
did
spots.
use this on these little pansy looking flowers. But anyway, I'm just gonna lightly set this. And the reason I say lightly is because I'm gonna reset them later on in this process. And if I set them too deep to begin with and don't get them centered exactly on the original impression, that's gonna have a whole bunch of little chatter marks around. But anyway, that's all I'm gonna do to the flower centers. The reason I do that first is that way I have a place to cut my flower petals too. Because without that flower center in there, I don't know how far to cut these petals.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm just gonna start to cut my pattern. And I'm gonna cut it the same way I drew it, which is I'm gonna start with the flowers.
I don't know if it was Julie that actually emailed.
Oh.
It could have been somebody else.
I thought it was Julie. Maybe
Was it
not.
Julie?
Well, Julie, if I didn't email you, then it wasn't to you. But it's on the description of the video.
Yeah, it's there now. Sorry.
The tissue pattern is on there.
Yeah, it took Monday. I think you got it done on Monday.
I was trying to remember what we did last week, and it was that tissue holder, wasn't
It
it?
sure was.
And when you trace a pattern, a lot of times you don't get it on there as exact as you want. But when you cut it like I'm doing now, you can kind of fix a lot of those little faux pas.
It was Yvonne had emailed us, not
Oh.
Julie.
Sweet. That's why Julie didn't get it. You have to swivel knife with your other hand out of the way when you do that.
Okay, one thing I want to mention to you right now is the flow of these patterns. The flowers, the flow of the pattern always goes towards the center of the flower, the center of this flower center. So everything that if you can give me an overhead, everything that I'm doing here wants to, if I follow through with this cut, it wants to go right to the center of that flower. Like this cut, this, I haven't got it drawn very good, but when I cut it, I will cut it different. But if I follow through with this, it'll go right towards the center of the flower. This cut here, if you'd look, it'll go right towards the center. Just remember that on all your, everything you do on these patterns, you know, there's a certain flow to it. The vine, you follow the vine all the way around the flower, and the center keeps going away from you. Am I in my own way here?
No, you're doing great. Alicia had a question about sharpening her swivel knife blade. And so maybe one thing we want to start with is talking about actually sharpening the blade versus polishing and stropping. So Alicia, just before we get into this, how are you currently, like what is your technique that you are going through to get it sharp? And then we'll kind of work our way from there. And also maybe what leather are you using? Because that makes the difference on how it tools your moisture content. Really, I feel like,
Yeah.
like between moisture content and like the polishedness of your blade, like how polished it is, those are probably the two most important things.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If you're gonna tool, it needs to be on vegetable tan leather. People say, well, I've tried it on Latigo and it works. Well, it might, but you aren't gonna get the same effect you do with a vegetable tan leather. And some vegetable tan leathers aren't as nice as others. So, you know, if you're asking us, we're gonna tell you to use Herman oak leather.
That's right.
I mean, there's no other way around it.
Hey Denny, if somebody took this pattern of yours and they put it on their own piece of leather, and they put their maker's mark on it,
I don't care.
you feel that way with everything? Like even if they got it out of an Al Stolman book or they got it out of one of Jim Linnell's patterns?
Most of the time, those patterns that are published, the people are publishing them so that someone can copy them.
Yeah, that's how that.
So I wouldn't worry about it too much. If it's a finished product and you're taking a copy of a finished product of someone's, you might have something to worry about. But you know, if it's a pattern as such, the reason it's there is so that you can use it, I think.
You may use a pattern, but you're the one that put it down on the piece of leather.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, if someone used my pattern and tooled it themselves and said that I did it, I wouldn't be happy about that, I don't think.
Right. Tried to claim that it was a Denny Lowe.
Right.
They could say it was a Denny Lowe pattern tooled by such and such.
Right.
Dean. We'll just choose Dean right now because he's
Dean.
the most ornery. I don't know, between you and Ron, we'll go back and forth. Let's hear. Jackie asked if our kits are made from Herman oak. They are. All of our wallet backs are all cut from Herman oak leather. If you buy, and we will specify, like if you buy pre-cuts from us, we do sell import pre-cuts and Herman oak pre-cuts, but they are like, they're labeled as such. But all of our kit parts, all of our wallet backs for any of our kits will be made from Herman oak. And then the veg that we use, if you do get a like a Roper wallet kit or something and you choose the vegetable tan interior, it will be Herman oak veg tan leather, not import.
Yeah, and the interiors aren't always vegetable tan leather. They don't have to be,
Right.
because you aren't tooling them anyway. Oh, I guess you could. If
Sure,
you
it
did
would-
tool them, they would need to be a vegetable tan leather.
Yeah, and they would need to be thicker probably than what we send you.
Yeah,
Because we make our interiors like a solid like 2 ounce and we try to get it as close to that as possible, and that would be difficult to tool.
Alicia had an update to that.
If it's dull, I use diamond sharpening plate and then strop it. I use veg tan.
the main thing, if you're actually sharpening a swivel knife blade, you need to sharpen on the correct angle, which is the angle that was there originally, unless you're trying to change that angle. You know, if it's steeper than you like, you know, you can change the angle on it. But if you're trying to just sharpen the blade like it was originally, you want to be on that same angle with your diamond sharpening plate, you know.
Hey Denny, how often do you sharpen your swivel knife?
I only sharpen my swivel knife if I drop it on somewhere and put a nick in it.
You're mostly just polishing using jeweler's rouge, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't need to sharpen. I mean, you're not cutting anything really. Like you're cutting through leather, but you're not. This blade is not going through like hard use. You're not like chopping a 2x4 with your swivel knife blade. So you're not, like Denny said, unless you drop it and then you look at the blade and there's a nick in it that you actually need to sharpen out. Yeah. You mostly just want to be stropping it with jeweler's rouge.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this little deal here
that little
comes with most swivel knives, something to this effect. When I'm done with a swivel knife, I always put that back on there.
That's right.
Because your swivel knife is a pretty important tool and it needs to be sharp, sharp, sharp. But you don't have to sharpen it every time. You just need to polish it every time.
Once you make it sharp, it's gonna stay sharp.
Yeah, they have a little tool that you can get, you know, if you should happen to mess up your blade and need to actually sharpen it. I forget what it's called. Do you remember? Easy Sharp or something?
Oh,
yeah, it holds your blade at a specific angle. We do. I think if you look up sharpening tools, it would probably come up for us.
Yeah, and that would be good for you on your diamond sharpening deal.
Yeah, it'll help you hold it at the right angle. But the thing is that after you sharpen it, so if you do take it to that diamond, you know, polishing wheel, you have to get all of those lines out. So like as you sharpen it, you know, you're cutting away material and that's leaving lines in the blade. And so then you need to go and you need to polish all of those lines out until it is like it's mirror smooth.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just gonna, as you try to cut, it's just gonna cut all of those lines, all those serrations that you put in as you sharpened it. Those are all just gonna grip onto your leather and you're not gonna get a very smooth cut. But also like just making sure that the moisture content in your leather, if your leather is too wet, it's also not gonna cut well, it's gonna drag. You can cut too deeply in it if it's too wet. And then if it's too dry, it's also gonna drag and it's just not gonna cut well.
Yeah, yeah, that's the important thing, and that's what I tell everybody. If your knife is actually sharp and it starts to drag, it's probably one of two things. Either your leather is starting to dry out, or it's too wet, or you need to strop your knife. 9 out of 10 times, if you will strop your knife, you will be completely amazed with yourself and say, why didn't I do that long ago?
Yep, there it is.
Because it makes a big difference.
The Keen Edge Sharpener.
Keen Edge, yes.
K-E-E-N. Keen Edge Sharpener houses your blade, holds it at the right angle. It's got a little roller ball or a roller bar on the bottom, and then you can drag it along whatever
Can you
you're...
see the item number there?
No, I can't.
What if I do that?
Yes. 011-88111800.
Yeah, and those are adjustable for the angle that's on your blade.
We will have this pattern available. It won't be available right now. We just got in here. Denny doesn't work on Mondays and Tuesdays, so it's a little bit difficult for us to prep at the beginning of the week for the videos, but we'll get this scanned in and then it'll be downloadable. So maybe by the end of Friday, we'll have this pattern available for you guys to download for what Denny is doing now. But I think this also, does this come with our wallet kit?
I believe so.
Oh, look here, I can look. So, somebody asked about hand sewing versus machine sewing with our interiors. We sell both a punched interior, so a pre-punched interior, and that is also the way that our kit comes. So if you buy a kit from us, it will be pre-punched. So that's just kind of the standard with kits. If it is a kit, it will be pre-punched, and it will have the holes in the interior and the holes in the wallet back for whatever style of wallet that you're getting. Or you can just buy the interior not punched. It won't have any holes in the edge, and then you can buy a wallet back also separately that will match together. We do not sell those as kits, so you have to buy the interior, whatever color you want. We make our interiors in like 6 or 7 different leathers, and then you would buy the wallet back that goes with it. And if you buy a veg tan one, it will come Herman Oak 4 to 5 ounce. That's what our wallet backs are. And then you can put those two together, and you can. Denny, though, you don't prefer the pre-punched, even if you're lacing.
I don't.
Yeah, he prefers just to put it together, and then he just punches slots.
The pre-punched are punched with a round hole.
Correct.
And I like a slot to...
Yeah, so then he just uses his lacing chisels to punch.
Yeah, but the pre-punch, you can hand stitch or lace through those holes.
Patrick had a comment. Denny, and I know you wet your leather different than Jim. Linnell was using the sponge to wet his leather. I've seen you do it that way before, but what would you say, how can you tell what the good moisture content is for best swivel cuts and tooling?
If you will look at this leather, see how it's light colored around the edges and it's darker colored in the middle. When I first wet it, it's twice that dark. You want, ideally, your leather should just be turning back to a natural color almost. But there again, it's something you just have to do it a bunch of times and start to get the feel of how your leather cuts. If your swivel knife is sharp, when it's at the right content, right moisture content, it will glide through your leather like butter. And you know, there again, there's only one little sweet spot in that moisture timeline, you know. So you aren't going to be at the perfect spot all the time, but just learn how to compensate, you know. The moisture makes your leather soft, makes it easier to cut, but it also makes it kind of mushy if it's too wet.
Yeah. This is the pattern that comes, excuse me, this is the pattern that comes with our current roper kit, so it's an acorn leaf tooling pattern. So that if you bought our interior, this is what would come with the interior.
Yeah, this is the pattern that I use for my classes. You know, which is a bit different than ours.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to.
Are you reading Jackie?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get Jackie's. I'm not quite sure that I understand. So Jackie said, on the swivel, I've been trying to strop sideways to get a smoother blade edge that mimics the cut flow direction. I end up damaging the strop, which I don't understand that.
Watch me. Watch me.
Oh.
Let me see if I can do this. If you notice, there's an angle on this blade. I don't know if you can see it, but that's how I try and hold it at approximately that angle. Then at that angle, I'm stropping like this. I'm just pulling it towards myself. Then I want to turn the blade over and do the same thing on the other side. Do not go like this and wipe the edge of that blade.
No, you're just rounding.
That will round off the edge. But just go like this. If you go like this, yeah, you're going to damage your, for one thing, you're going to be dulling your blade. For another thing, you'll damage your strop. But just pull it towards yourself, just over. If you've got to do it 1,000 times, do it 1,000 times. Get that mirror finish on the edge of this blade. See how that just shines? I mean, this part of the blade
look at
shines
that.
too, but look at the edge of it. It just shines.
It looks like a movie finish whenever they're flashing some sort of a blade in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The elven blades come out of their sheaths and they're glowy.
You know, and some people will use a double-edged strop. They will use like an emery cake on one side, which is a little more, pardon me, aggressive than the Jeweler's Rouge. They'll do it first and then go back to the.
Well, yeah. So I guess if you have damaged your blade to a slight extent and it's not terrible enough to where you actually need to take it and refine the edge, you can use the emery, get a little bit more of an aggressive one, and then polish.
Or if you're actually going to sharpen it on a stone or on a diamond plate or whatever, do that and then go to your emery cake side.
Oh, and work it down.
Yeah, and use it a little bit and then go to your Jeweler's Rouge for your finish.
Yeah.
But most people make it harder than it needs to be. Just take care of your blade, don't drop it. If you do drop it, sharpen it up,
Yes.
and then strop it.
Shelly Denny is back to doing classes on Saturdays.
Come on in.
He'd love to have you.
I would. I've got to. This Saturday, I think I have 4 students. I limit it to 6.
Have you ever had 6?
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
When I first started, we had 6 a lot of times.
But now he's taught everyone.
Well, Yeah, I've kind of saturated the immediate market, but there are still people. Generally 3 or 4 is what my classes are.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just 1, and that's a great class. If I can teach you one-on-one.
Denny has a great time. I stopped in the other day. I don't remember what I was doing here. I either forgot something or I needed to pick something up or I was doing something, and I popped in to say hi to you because it was a Saturday, and your student was just sitting there all by his lonesome, and I was like, "Where's Denny?" And he's like, "He went to lunch." I was like,
You're on your own,
he
buddy.
just left you on your own. You just keep backgrounding. You won't be done when I get back.
No, well, we always take an hour lunch break in the middle of the day.
And if they want to stay here, they
And
can.
he said, yeah, most people don't. Most people leave and go somewhere and get a bite to eat. He said, is it okay if I stay? And I said, sure. So he did.
Did you say how you get signed up for it?
I did not. So if you would like to take one of Denny's classes, you need to give us a call. That's the only way to sign up. And I believe, Denny, do they talk to you or does the office work with you a little bit to get people signed up?
Either one.
Okay.
They can either talk to me or...
So you can talk to our office and you can see, so every other week, Denny will do a beginner and then an advanced. It's an all-day class. It's $80.
$80.
$80, and then you have to buy your supplies.
Yeah. The novice class, there's no material charge because I generally just use those
Coasters.
rounders. But this class, I think this kit is 25, something like that. The other kit, the Field Notes Journal, is just about 15, I think.
Yeah.
And for that class, you let them pick what they're going to do.
I give them a choice of those two items.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't just say do whatever you want to on this first one because they're liable to pick something that I don't have a pattern for, and I don't have time to make a pattern during the class for them. So it needs to be something that I already have a pattern for. Now, on that same note, a lot of people will come back and take that advanced class again. And for those, I say, if you have something that you want to do and can find a pattern for it, or if I have a pattern for it, we'll do it. I'll help you do it. And a lot of people will do that. They'll just come up with something on their own.
Right.
But that's if they've
after
already
they've-
taken this initial.
Yeah. And you have several people that'll take it a couple times.
Oh, I had 2 ladies. I bet they both came back 7 or 8 times.
Well, just every time you just...
One of them called herself my bad penny. Your bad penny is back.
that's fun.
We've talked about doing the virtual class. It's tough because I'm not here on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So this is your virtual class.
This is...
Yeah, this is it.
Let's see here. There was...
Hope you enjoy.
So Wayne had a comment, and I feel like maybe we should address it. So he said, would it be true to say that when sharpening, you should push your knife away from you, and then stropping, you should pull it towards you?
I think you should always pull it towards you. When you push your knife into whatever compound or medium that you're using to sharpen or polish, you're going to be dulling that blade. You're pushing the edge into that material. Whereas if you pull it away, you're pulling your edge away from the strop or the stone, whatever you're using, and I always get along better when I pull it. I know a lot of people will go in a circular motion, but every time you go around, you're pushing that blade into your stone or whatever.
Yeah.
Becky Freeman Hall, Denny.
Say what?
Becky Hall, your friend from Louisiana.
Yes.
She came by 2 weeks ago to see you.
I heard that, Becky. I heard that. I'm sorry I missed you.
Yeah, Becky says, I'm still tooling, taking orders, I'm loving every day in my leather shop.
Great.
Thank you for your thank you, and your knowledge has been priceless.
Well, I appreciate you.
Patrick asked if you think that anybody coming in should take the beginner class first, Or if they do have a certain skill level, could they jump into the advanced, or do you just say?
They can, and some people do. Most people will want to take the novice class first, but that's not necessarily. If you can bevel decently, run your swivel knife decently, you know, or use a parashader. If you're familiar with all those tools and have used them and
you feel pretty good?
And get along with them pretty well, yeah, go for it. Now there's the novice class, I think I go through 7 different tools. A beveler, a parashader, a backgrounder, a veiner, a camouflage,
A mule?
a mule's foot, and what else?
Well, there's one more.
I guess whatever. but this beginner or advanced class, there's several more tools involved, you know, because we're doing something different than just the bare necessities, the bare minimum. But anyway, I've got this cut. If you want to look at it.
Cedar. Use a cedar?
Cedar, flower center, yes. Yeah, okay, now I'm cut. If I go to my list, after I've cut my pattern, the first thing I do is use an undershot, which
Okay.
is a tool that you don't use in the beginner's class.
Oh, Tammy asked you, what's your project this Saturday?
Either this, I give people the choice.
So,
They-
so you're doing it in advanced class this Saturday?
Yes, this Saturday.
He's doing
the
it-
the first or the third Saturday of every month is the novice class, and the second or the fourth Saturday of every month is the advanced intermediate class.
There you go.
Okay, these are undershot bevelers. They're a beveler, but they work a little bit different than a regular beveler, and their main purpose. There's 2 different sizes also, that's the only difference between them. Their main purpose is to bevel these inside curves, all these little inside curves, like this, and this. Because if you use a regular beveler to do that, it's number 1, it's very difficult, and number 2, you usually end up with a bunch of choppy little marks on the inside.
Okay.
But I'm going to use these, and I'm going to show you how to set them. The first, you hold this tool straight up and down, and I set it, and then I will give it one pretty good shot. That's all there will be to it.
So for these undershots, we're using tools B60 and B61.
Yes, and if you have your own undershots, it's something similar, that's fine too.
Yeah, this is just what we're using.
Yeah, well, and I'm using my own personal tools, you know, and some of them are different. They're the same shape, same type of tool though. So, but these undershots, you have 2 different sizes. Some of your scallops will be smaller than your others. Like this one here is a bit smaller. This one's a bit smaller, so I'll use the smaller tool. But I will go all the way around this whole pattern. Everywhere there's an inside curve.
I'll be back. I gotta go get more popcorn.
I will use this undershot. I'm glad Tony keeps us informed.
Oh, I forgot. Michael had a question about, this is not on tooling topic, but he was wondering whenever you're doing, like packing the back of the leather to give it a 3D appearance, what's your preferred glue that you like to mix with your medium for whatever it is that you're going to pack?
We got some stuff from Renia a while back, and it's a cork type filler, and they suggest using a rubber cement with that.
Yeah.
So that's what I would. That's the only thing that I've ever used.
You don't do that very much, do you?
No, I don't do it very often at all.
I need to ask Kevin. Kevin, look at that. Kevin's here. Hey, Kevin.
Well, Kevin.
I needed to ask you a question yesterday and I forgot. Michael was.
Is 11.
It's always 11. Sometimes it's 13. Michael was wondering, what is your favorite adhesive to use whenever you're making filler for a 3D tooling?
My favorite filler to use? Mm-hmm. You know, you're probably not gonna, am I on here?
You're kind of right there.
You're probably not gonna like the answer, Michael, but I don't use filler. I push the leather up from the back and I re-bevel And if necessary, I push the leather up from the back again and rebevel again until I get it the exact way that I want it. And actually, I've got pictures hanging out in the showroom that have been done for 40 years, and they're still embossed quite well. That little fish up there is one of them.
Yeah.
Filler is great. I guess there's things you can do. The filler does allow you to tool on it afterwards, but I'm just not all that sure that that's something I want to do.
Okay. So, but if you had to use a rubber, like if you had to use a cement, what would you choose?
Oh, a glue?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were.
No, you're fine.
The glue for what purpose? To mix your
To mix your filler with.
filler with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since I guess never having really.
Well, I was telling them that the Renia filler that
I mean, they
that
make a
we had
filler.
was a rubber cement was what they suggested.
From what I've heard, and it's a relatively new product for us, is supposedly the top of the line stuff. But you know, I mean, every manufacturer is going to tell you that his stuff's top of the line.
But if you
So-
just bought the leather dust, or you had leather dust and you wanted to mix it, like that you were going about it that way instead of using the pre-made filler.
You know, I guess I'm probably the wrong person to ask, because I did mix some one time with Elmer's glue, and it worked just fine. It was not a thing I really cared for to do, because it seemed like I could do just as good without the filler.
Okay. Okay. Well, Michael, that's what all of our expertise here at SLC has for you on the subject of filler.
Yeah, probably, don't know if I'd call that expertise.
Well, I'm glad you walked. That was the perfect moment to walk by the door.
Well, happy days. It
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks for coming in.
I'm going to go back to making leather bundles and petting this goofy little dog right here. Ooh,
All right.
you can just
Okay.
Hold on, Denny. Did you talk about undershot lifter? Anything about that?
Well, yeah,
that's what
I
we
told
just
them. Yeah, you can look
Right
and,
here.
and see everywhere that I've used that undershot. If you go around here, every inside curve here, I've used that undershot on.
What-
And like I said, the main purpose that I use it for is not to lift the pedals. But that is a perk. It does lift the pedals a bit. But the main purpose is to bevel those tight inside curves.
It's going to be difficult to bevel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll show you when I start to bevel these how to finish those out. But
So Calvin asked you, you're saying undershot. Is that the same as lifter or rounder beveler?
if you order a Barry King tool, he would call it a lifter.
Okay.
It's not the same as a pro pedal, which is like this, which I will show you how I use the pro pedal at the very end, and it will be in the same place that I use these undershots.
Right.
But I use them to clean up the undershots, and that's when I actually lift the pedals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can actually get farther in if you want to, and you can really do crazy things by using both of those
Right.
together.
Right. But to start with, I just use the undershot. Okay. I've done that. Now I'm going to, I'm going to start beveling, but the first thing I'm going to bevel will be this border on the outside. I'll just bevel all the way around it. Some people will say, why don't you use a push beveler? Well, I've already answered that question several times. I don't like a push beveler. I don't get the same effect. And as far as moisture content goes, I like the leather to be almost dried back out to the original color. Seems like I can move my beveler easier, and I don't get the mushy effect that I do when I'm too wet. But and that's another thing on a beveler. This is more or less Sheridan style carving. The figures are all fairly small compared to a traditional Western floral carving, They used a flat beveler then. These are all steep bevelers. You can use a smooth beveler if you want to, or a checkered beveler, which is what I've got here. I like the checkered beveler because it gives you a little more texture, and when you antique it, all these little checkered marks catch a little bit of that antique and give you
It holds on to it.
nicer effect.
Yeah, otherwise sometimes with that smooth, you really like you have some antique down in a line, but you don't really have like a gradient of antique.
Yeah. Yeah.
What number's your tools? Your bevelers?
Hold on.
What number?
So we've got PB.
PB012 or PB013. Those two bevelers is what I would be using. These are Berry King bevelers, but the PB012 and 013 are the ones we sell, and they work just as well.
And by the O, he means 0, because we do
Zero,
have
yeah.
numbers and letters in that name. So it's PB012 and 013
Okay.
if you're typing it in. Sorry, just if the O's aren't probably going to get them to where they want to be.
But there again, if you've got bevelers and want to use them, use them. Use what you've got.
Okay, I have a little, a sorry for all of you guys that ordered a lot of leather on the live shopping for Cyber Monday, because you're gonna get some heavy boxes, and for a lot of you it's gonna be one really big roll that's like the size of a almost grown child. So have fun getting it out of the box. Don't break your back. Nobody break their backs. Cut the box open with scissors if you're having problems. And then also maybe like tip your driver for getting the box to you, hopefully in one piece.
God, I don't know what to do to help you. The tapping is drowning Denny out. Hey Denny, can you bevel that without making so much noise? People want to hear you talk. Okay, perfect.
Archie, we already talked about the push beveler. Denny doesn't like them.
Yeah, you may just have to repeat everything I say.
That's fine. I can do that.
I put my headphones in and listen, and it sounded fine to me.
I can't bevel without making noise.
Yeah, this isn't like using that screw punch to punch holes.
Yeah.
This is a...
Patrick, Denny uses a 15-ounce maul.
Yeah, this is a 15, 16, 12 would work. 12 is pretty light and delicate, but anything bigger than that is kind of overkill on.
You're gonna get yourself some Popeye forearms, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
Just like doing this all day.
Okay, now I'm going to start beveling, and I'm going to show you how I bevel through these.
Justin, the remainder, we got all of our splitting finished up yesterday. It took the splitter a little while to make it through the pretty significant pile that we took him, so that I got finished up, and it is, all of the orders are gathered and they are working on being shipped today. So we have been shipping throughout the entirety of this past week and this week, but everything that has been completed, it'll go out today. So if you haven't seen yours ship yet, today will be the day. It was like 5:30 and Tony and I were like fist bumping because we finally made it through everything.
Fist bumping. Now I'm just using this larger beveler to do these long straighter lines. But after I get all those done on this flower, which I just did, then I'm going to do a couple more. Then I'm going to switch over to that smaller beveler. If you will watch me, when I come around this corner here, I'm just kind of going to fly through that inside beveled part.
Like Superman.
Yeah, there I go. See how I flew right through there?
Not really, because your finger was kind of in the way. Maybe.
Sorry. Okay, let me go back the other way. Can you see that?
Yes.
And if you'll notice, there's a little line there where the undershot stopped. That's what I want to fly through, because I want to get rid of that line.
Alrighty, Rodney. I'm going to tell you something. We don't know what brand of swivel knife this is. I think it was a sample that came in, and Kevin gave it to Denny, and he likes it, and he's been using it. But we don't carry it, I don't think.
No, we don't.
We don't. It was just a sample. And at this point, we don't really remember either. So any swivel knife will work as long as the blade is stropped to a mirror polish and cuts through your leather. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you can use a $10 swivel knife.
That's right.
Like, it's gonna work fine as long as the blade is stropped. That is the most important part.
Yeah, that blade. I told a story of a guy that my old mentor, old Bob McRae, told me. He used to work at Visalia Saddle Company, and there was a tooler there. All he did was tool, and he had very, very long fingers, and they didn't make a swivel knife that was long enough for him. So he just sharpened a cold chisel, and that's what he used to tool with. But by golly, that thing was sharp. And Visalia was state of the art at that time, you know, so he was no slouch. It doesn't matter what knife you use, just practice using it. Get good at using it.
Rodney says it looks like a Henley swivel knife. I don't know. It doesn't have a name on it.
No, it's, I'll tell you, I think hide crafters used to sell that knife years ago. I've had that knife for 15 or 20 years, probably. And Kevin didn't give it to me. Kevin never gave me anything, you guys.
Okay.
He charges me. But it was very inexpensive. I think I paid like $10 or $15 for that knife.
Alrighty.
And he had like 100 of them. And once they were gone, there were no more.
Gotcha. I would love to tell you what brand it is, but I cannot. Oh, Dean. Randy, I don't know if we actually have a page on the website that talks about Denny's classes, just because you can't sign up for them on the website. Do we? Do we have a page that talks about Denny's classes on the website? I don't think we do. We have like a pamphlet that if you come in, we have like a flyer that you can get in person.
I will make it available online. I'll make it an item you can purchase online. And then
Tony will do all the things.
Non-refundable. I'm getting ready to mute. I'm gonna put a mute button on Denny's Beveler.
No, he's not. Randy, if you have questions, give us a call. Anybody in the
I'll put it on the website. I'll put it on.
Okay, we'll put the pamphlet, but you'll still
be able to sign up for it online.
I know, but we have to be able to wait to like limit class sizes and like, so we can make the pamphlet available, but then we might still just say call in.
Yeah, just give me a call.
Denny's here Wednesday through Saturday, not Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, Abigail. I don't even know where she got that. That made me laugh. She was telling somebody your schedule, and I had to be like, that's weird and not correct.
Weird and not correct.
Sue Ann's package is 38 pounds, and it will be delivered today. Tori is a beautiful person, and she's going to take a dolly out to the truck when it arrives to help the guy get it off the truck for 40-pound package. What do you use as a weight? We use lead shot. Drew, lead.
Shot. But I don't think they use lead anymore. Just can't get it.
Oh. Yeah, and the ones that, well, I guess that is. This one is lead shot, so if you have lead shot, you could just make yourself a little tube, pour it in, and sew it up.
I think the ones we have are steel shot, but they're a special steel. It's heavier than.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to replace, we used to just be able to like go to the Bass Pro down the street and buy, like a 50-pound bag of lead shot. And you can't do that anymore. That's not a thing. Or it's like 5 times more expensive than it was pre-COVID. So.
Denny, can you talk and bevel at the same time?
I can't chew gum and walk at the same time.
Okay.
I kind of, what do you want me to talk about? This beveling is kind of a lonely sport. I don't know. There's a lot of lines here, and the only way You get it, and a lot of people say, oh, I hate beveling, it's too much work. But that's the part that makes this so nice, you guys.
Perfect, Drew. You got it. And just we prefer veg tan, or sometimes Denny will use like a deer tanned cow. You want something that's not gonna like bleed out, so not something that's like heavily dyed. Because if your leather is wet, you don't want it to be absorbing any dye from whatever it is that you're using. So a milled veg that has some nice body to it, or a deer tanned cow, deer skin actually. Is that deer? Or is that just veg?
No, I think this is deer tan cow
Okay.
here.
Yeah, that's a nice one. It's thin, super malleable, but it's pretty strong and holds up well.
And you can use regular deer skin too if you've got any.
Mm-hmm.
Or elk skin. Anything soft and kind of supple makes the best ones.
What is your beveler that you're using right now? Is it a Berry King?
Yes, this is Berry King, but it's equivalent to the
the PB
B60 or PB012 or the PB013.
Yeah.
I think the only difference is the size. Let me see if I can show you this.
Right here.
Here, you want that?
Okay.
They're the same beveler, got the same pattern on them, just one's bigger than the other.
Michael, your order is over we filled it last night. Yours was one of the last ones that we filled. It is in the cart. The guys are working on it today to get all those orders out. So it will be on its way today, Michael.
Yeah, I can't give Denny's mic any more priority over Liz's mic because they use the same mic.
Because it's right
Because it's
there. Ba-ba-da-dun!
It's just a rim mic so that we don't have to use lapel mics because they're cumbersome and take batteries.
Yeah, but how much does tungsten cost, Larry?
Some people have tried to use BBs.
Oh, BBs are too.
BBs aren't heavy enough to actually do the job that you're trying to get them to do.
Michael, yours is probably going to be in multiple boxes, I would assume. You'll probably have at least 2. Unless the guys just get real crazy, but I assume you'll have 2. I'm not going to pack it. So I filled all the orders, but our good friends Ryan and Russ are packing all of the orders. We had to steal our shop employees to ship all of these orders because gathering has been so busy that I didn't want to bug any of those fine fellas. So the shop is shipping our orders.
Oh, Michael, yours is a heavy box.
Yeah, yours are probably going to be 2.
And they'll both be heavy. You're going to have to put your son to work.
You guys, back to tooling here. Something that I have neglected to mention was when you come to the end of a line that doesn't butt to another line, when it just ends up out in the middle of nowhere, you want to lighten up your beveling where it just fades out into a hairline.
Ooh.
It gives it a more pleasing effect.
Instead of just a nice deep stop.
Let me bevel this line right here so that you can see what I'm talking about.
All right, let's listen.
Okay, now I'm coming to the end of this line and I'm just going to lighten up. But if you see there how it just fades out into a hairline, that way it doesn't just have an abrupt, blunt stop to it. It just looks more like it ought to look.
Right.
I guess, I don't know, how should it look?
I like those little like steel blocks that are covered in leather. I see a lot of people and you can get them from, I'm just going to say Crimson Hide because I think that's the one company that I know that you can buy, but they're just it's a little steel round block with usually a little handle on the top, but sometimes I guess it could just almost like a hockey puck is what they look like. Sometimes they have a cute little kind of like a knob that comes off the top, but people will cover them in like a tooled piece of leather and they'll leather line the bottoms, or they'll make it just a really smooth rounded steel so that you're not, causing any abrasion on the surface of the leather.
Here's the one that Chevy got.
Those are fun.
Yeah, a lot of people just used to use
I see if you let go, maybe it'll. I see it's like on the side. Is it just like a flat? Oh, there it is. Where'd you get that from? That looks like something that Kevin King would make.
I'm working on this one, I guess. I get distracted.
You see Ken's question?
Kenny, so our wholesale can be acquired two different ways. First of all, if you have a business with your resale license or your tax ID number from your state, you can contact our office, send that information in, and we give any businesses wholesale pricing at no additional charge. There usually is not quantity like requirements for wholesale. It's just if you are a business, there's reselling your products, we offer you that price. Or if you don't have your business license, you can pay for it like a membership. We call it the Gold Club. In that instance, it's a $30 membership that you pay a year to get the lower pricing. So that's how you do it. Larry said he got some ankle weights at an estate sale. They are now deer hide shot bags.
That would work.
How's it going,
I
Denny?
forgot to undershot that.
Oops, he missed an undershot. Sometimes they sneak away from you.
Yeah. I did the rest of it. Why didn't I do that part?
Jackie her mouth is on the floor watching your beveling skills.
Her mouth is.
I added
Pick that up. You don't know where it's been.
You don't know where the floor's been?
Yeah.
You don't know where that floor goes to when you're not watching it.
When you're beveling, if you get a line that's kind of choppy, you can just go back over it and smooth it out. That's another thing. You can use your beveler to change some of these lines. If you get a line that doesn't look right to you, you can change it to a point.
Mm-hmm. Michael, I sent that email to both our warehouse manager and my purchasing manager, and nobody responded about what kind of jam the printer makes. Actually, I'm a little disappointed in them right now.
What kind of jam?
Yeah. He asked what flavor of jam the printer makes. Blackberry.
You guys, we're not going to have time for me to finish all this beveling in this session here, so I will finish the beveling, and when we come back Friday, we will go on to bigger and better things.
How do I get a catalog?
You can download it on the website.
Yeah, we are currently out of physical catalogs. Printing of catalogs has kind of gone exponentially up in the past year and a half. So we have not made the decision to reorder. We haven't made that decision yet. So right now you can download the catalog and you can just flip through the current version that we have digitally, but we don't have any physical ones to mail out anymore. what are your thoughts on using one tool throughout the pattern, then moving to the next tool?
That's fine if you can keep track of yourself. And I know some people do that. They will go through the whole pattern with the larger beveler and then go back and finish up with the smaller beveler. But it's a lot of times it's hard to keep track of where you've been and what you have left. I always find myself, when I start to background, which will be the next step, I come to, oh, I forgot to bevel that. So there I put down my backgrounder, and then I pick up my tools, my bevelers again, and bevel that part. And go on, and oh, there's another little piece I forgot to bevel, you know.
Wayne said, do you prefer a steep beveler or a lower pitch beveler?
A steep beveler. Not extra steep, just steep.
I mean, you can take.
Well, Barry King
take,
makes an extra steep
Does he?
also.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't think that we have that.
No.
I mean, you can take a beveler and tip it up and make it a little steeper.
Mm-hmm.
There was a machine.
There was. It was like a little jackhammer.
Yeah, it was like a handheld jackhammer thing. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't. I don't even know what to Google.
It's called a power beveler.
Power bevel.
Did we get one?
No.
Okay, we
Your
just saw
husband
that.
wanted me to start using them. Why don't you use
He
one of those?
did.
Well, Chris, it wouldn't be hand done then. Plus, you don't have, I don't care what they say, you don't have as much control over something like that as you do.
I think it was when he got into engraving.
Yeah.
And he came across that tool. He bought himself like a Lindsay engraver, and while he was doing that research, because they are stinking expensive, and so he was like kind of looking for like different things on the market, and he came across that beveling tool. It was like an auto beveler.
Well, you know, and there are people, especially some people that are, you know, they don't have the use of both hands maybe, or they have a problem with one of their hands or both of their hands. You know, those can come in handy and actually do the job, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, what I'm doing, I want to do it by hand.
Michael wanted to know if you had a preference between bevelers when you're tooling acorns and leaves. Like if you preferred a steep or a medium or...
No, I always just use a regular steep beveler.
And he probably always just uses these two bevelers that he's using right now.
Yeah, that's true. I have smooth bevelers. I have bevelers that are lined. Yeah, you know, I have flat bevelers and I have everything, but these are the ones that I use. I can't say that I would never use a different beveler, but for almost everything that I do on a regular basis, I use these. I think Kevin has even started using a steep beveler.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You won him over.
But one reason is because that's all I ever bring him.
He just doesn't have a choice. You taught that old dog a new trick.
He has a choice. He just doesn't bring his own tools in here.
He does. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think Denny just has much more beveling to do.
Yeah, I've got one more flower to do after this, and then the leaves, and then all of those. I'm going to start calling them stickers and not chicken necks.
But that's no fun.
Okay.
What's the
all
difference between
chicken
it?
necks.
What's a chicker?
A stick.
A sticker.
It's a chicken neck.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Why? It doesn't make any sense.
I know. Chicken necks are much more explanatory.
Yeah.
Okay, all the chicken necks.
Alrighty, so he's going to bevel all of this. He's just going to keep going.
Yeah.
So Friday we will be back with more fun things.
Yeah, Friday we will do our background.
Okay.
And hopefully all the rest of it. I think I can get through the rest of it on Friday.
Maybe you could do a little bit of background between now and then.
I'll do like half of it.
There we go. And
Okay.
then we'll just show you how to half background.
Yeah.
That seems fine. So, alrighty guys, let's hear.
Your other tools besides your swivel knife, is there any maintenance for them?
Don't drop them.
Drop them, and then you just buy a new one. Or if you're
Yeah.
crafty, I guess you can try to fix it. But it would be hard. It would be really hard to fix the checkering. Like if you dropped it and
You can you can send these. Barry King will resurface these checkers.
Oh, will you put up your finished thing and show what the chicken neck is, what we're talking about?
See that? Doesn't that, or turkey neck, maybe
Maybe.
people would relate to that more than a chicken neck.
You got your gobbler out
Same
there.
thing. All these little other little spots. Some people call them leaves, but this is a leaf. This is a leaf. And this is a leaf. That's a chicken neck.
or all the swirlies, all the swirlies that make the flowers connect.
Yeah.
So thank you, William. Yep, we will be back 11 a.m. Central Time on Friday. We do this every Wednesday and Friday at 11 a.m. So hit that little reminder button on your fancy little YouTube app so
Like
it
and
tells
subscribe.
you like and subscribe, do all those things. I never say that. Look at me go. Justin will be so proud. Alrighty, so we will be back with the rest of this tooling on Friday. And then for those of you, Michael asked about our giveaway. So the 23rd, so Friday, the 23rd of this month, which is in like 2 weeks probably, whatever day that is, our video will be a trivia hour giveaway. So we have a ton of products that we have been making in these videos all throughout the year. We always end up with this whole big array. Sometimes we put them out on retail, but sometimes we just save them for you guys. And last year we did this. It was a lot of fun. We had a really good time. So we will have trivia hour, 11 a.m. Central, Friday the 23rd, and we will be giving away
Stuff we've made on the line.
stuff that we've made on the lives. So join us for that. Make sure you read all the little things that you can read on the website about Springfield Leather. We'll be asking weird, obscure, miscellaneous questions like, what's Denny's wife's name?
Denny, do you know?
Am I?
So fun things like that if you are a frequenter of the fun, you will know the answers, hopefully,
Of the
to the
foolishness.
question. That's right, the foolishness.
Yeah. Who are the two that are most likely to be in the YouTube chat before the video even starts?
That's right. Well, we're going to ask all the fun questions
All those kind of questions.
for those of you that are true connoisseurs of Springfield Leather lives.
Between all the places we go live, it'll be on all 3 platforms, and we'll go from
We'll
one
switch back and forth.
one platform to the other, and we'll
Yeah.
just make a big circle. And if you get it right, you pick what's on the table, and we moved it to the claimed pile.
That's righty.
Connoisseur was a good name. Some people have to develop a taste.
They have to get past the oh my God, this is an hour and a half long. I don't know if but then they watch and they're like, all right, this is fun. We can
That's
do
what I
this.
told Liz. I'm like a fine wine. I get better with age. You hate me at first, but then you finally warm up to it.
Once you drank enough, it's
after
fine.
the first bottle, it gets
You're
good.
right in there. You're right in there.
Everything tastes good after the first bottle. Alrighty, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. We will be back tomorrow with some live shopping. It'll probably be light on the live shopping since we just finished orders last night at 5. But we'll do a couple of things. We'll sell something. We'll see. And then we'll be back at Friday at 11. So have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.